The weather across the United States is about to take a very active turn, with the potential for a tornado outbreak tomorrow and a significant, widespread damaging wind risk on Friday. And in between all these days, everything is going to be backed up by heat filling the United States and sort of taking over any of the cold temperatures that we are going to have. And I'm not going to hold you back from the forecast much longer, so with all this in mind, let me hurry up and get you right into the forecast. And for today, the Storm Prediction Center actually highlighted two different areas where they think severe weather could be a possibility today. One of those is going to be down there in portions of South Carolina through Georgia back through Florida that we need to be watching for. So if you're anywhere there along the extreme southeast there in that black circle region or in that dark green highlight, you need to be watching for the possibility of some isolated severe weather threats for today. And then scrolling up here into portions of Montana from Helena back out towards portions of like Canada, where we need to be watching for some more isolated severe weather chances out there. So definitely make sure y'all are staying aware if you're out there in any of these dark green highlighted areas. Anywhere in the light green highlighted areas are just watching for some scattered pop-up showers and maybe even a few scattered little thunderstorms every here and there. There is no tornado outlook issued for today, meaning that there's no tornado risk anywhere in the United States, at least that is below a 2% chance. Coming down to our wind threat for today, anywhere in these brown highlighted areas, winds could potentially be reaching into the 30s, maybe even 40 mile per hour range, so you definitely need to be watching out there for some winds to reach into the 30s and 40s. And then going into our hail outlook, there is no chance for hail today. However, hail probably could reach up into maybe penny sized in some areas. Just definitely make sure y'all are continuing to stay watching out there because it's still going to be an active severe weather day, especially out there in the dark green highlighted areas. However, I don't think anything crazy is going to happen today. It's going to be sort of our rest day in between our severe weather events. Because going into tomorrow, the Storm Prediction Center has put out a level 3 out of 5 severe weather risk up here. That's going to be in that orange highlighted area going through Vermont, New Hampshire, portions of New York, back through Maine, and it's going to be a possible tornado outbreak up here in portions of the New England regions that we need to be watching for. Anywhere in that yellow highlighted area needs to be watching for the possibility of some scattered severe weather as well. And then that dark green, same thing, and then the light green, just some scattered pop-up storms. However, I do think that we could get our strongest storms going to be possible out here anywhere in this orange highlighted area. And taking a look at our tornado outlook for tomorrow, it is not looking like a good day, especially coming down to whenever you don't want storms. There is going to be the possibility to see tornadoes potentially reaching upwards of EF2 in its intensity out there in portions of Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, back out into towards portions of New York that we need to be watching there for the possibility of EF2 tornadoes plus anywhere in that brown highlighted area. Anywhere from EF1 to just some scattered spin-up tornadoes could be possible out there in the dark green highlighted areas. Just definitely make sure y'all are continuing to be aware out there for that tornado risk going anywhere in the United States. There's no other tornado risk. But going back to our categorical outlook, which is mainly just where we could get some severe weather tomorrow. We could also get some for Helena back out towards Billings where we do have a dark green highlighted area of a 1 out of 5 marginal risk in effect. Like I said, that tornado risk is limited up there and towards portions of the New England. Coming down to our wind risk, 30 to 40 mile per hour winds could be possible out there in Montana, back through Idaho, and then to some portions of Wyoming. However, going out here into portions of the New England region, we have the potential to see winds potentially reaching into the 80s when it comes down to the 80 mile per hour range up here for portions of this red highlighted area. Winds could, like I said, could be reaching into the 80 mile per hour plus, which is hurricane force strength. So we need to be watching out there, or winds should be pretty high. Anywhere in this yellow highlighted area needs to be watching for 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts, maybe even 50 somewhere in there. And then in this brown highlighted area needs to be watching for 30 to 40 mile per hour winds. So it's going to be a strong day when it comes down to our wind risk for tomorrow. Going into our hail risk, there's no chances for hail whatsoever in tomorrow's risk. And then going into Wednesday, we're going to get another break from all of our severe weather. We don't even have a level 1 out of 5 severe weather risk in effect. It's just these little general thunderstorm risks where some scattered pop-up showers with maybe a few bolts of lightning and maybe a few rumbles of thunder could be possible out there here on Wednesday that you need to be watching for. Going into Thursday, severe weather will likely not be a big hazard. However, going into Friday, severe weather will be a strong concern anywhere in that yellow highlighted area. So anywhere in that yellow highlighted area, needs to be watching the potential to see some very intense wind gusts. This is a day 5 outlook now. This was a day 7 outlook just 2 days ago. I don't know why it still says day 6 outlook. I'm going to work on getting that fixed here very soon. But this is going to be in effect here on Friday, July 17th. So you need to be aware out there on Friday for a significant damaging wind risk. And that likely could include areas all the way out through here, anywhere in that circled area, whenever it comes down to the actual day. However, we are watching the possibility to get a significant, potentially up to level 4 out of 5 wind risk in effect for this day, and maybe an isolated tornado outbreak could be possible on Friday. So definitely make sure you all have multiple ways to receive weather alerts and are subscribed here with the post notifications bell turned on so you're notified whenever we do go live. And now for the timing of severe weather for today, going out through the next 2 to 3 days. Starting off with about the time this video comes out here around 12 p.m. Central Time, anywhere between 11 and 12 p.m. Central Time, probably closer to 11:30, but that is not my... We're going to have some storms begin to fire off there portions of the southeast that we need to be watching for. I don't think anything crazy is going to happen out of those threats for today, like I said. Going into tomorrow's threat, we're going to have some pretty significant supercells begin to fire off in portions of Canada going into tomorrow about 3 p.m. and then going all the way through about 7 to 10 p.m. So we definitely need to be watching there for an isolated threat of some significant severe weather, including the possibility for a tornado outbreak going on tomorrow with a pretty significant damaging wind risk as these storms begin to move into the New England regions around 5 to 6 p.m. Central Time. So y'all definitely need to be aware out there for some severe weather going on. Like I said, out there in portions of the Northeast and New England regions, because that is likely going to be a significant day. And then going into Wednesday, our threat of severe weather is going to begin to calm down. I don't think anything crazy is going to happen throughout Wednesday. Just a few scattered storms going to be possible. But mainly our main threat for right now that we're watching is going to be out there for tomorrow. So we definitely need to be aware out there in any portions of the New England region, because it's going to be a very significant day when it comes down to our severe weather risk. And our temperature levels are going to be through the roof over the next couple of days here going into next week here. We can see here this is going to take us all the way through pretty much until about Thursday. So our temperatures are going to be very hot there. As you can see, it's going to heat up during the day, cool down during the night, heat up during the day, cool down during the night. So it's going to be very hot during the day is what you really need to know. Definitely make sure you're staying hydrated, drinking plenty of water, drinking electrolytes as well, because it's going to be very hot and the sun is going to be incredibly draining. Also, on top of all this, our UV index and UV rates are going to be incredibly high, so definitely make sure you're putting on sunscreen out there anywhere in the United States, unless you're like obviously in the far northwest regions where it's still going to be hot, but it's going to get pretty cold during the nighttime. Just definitely make sure y'all are staying hydrated, putting on sunscreen, because it's going to be likely an intense next couple of weeks here going through the summer with how hot our temperatures have been and are going to be. And with all of that in mind, that was all the weather talk I had for you in today's video. If you did enjoy today's forecast, feel free to leave a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you're new here and would like more forecast updates and get live severe weather coverage commercial free. And you don't have to pay to watch the severe weather coverage, and you don't have to pay to subscribe or like. It's all free, which is the great thing about all this. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate you watching through the full forecast, and let me know down below in the comments that you watched through the whole forecast. And as always, be aware and prepare. This is Cruz Haynes tracking the storms before the storms track you. Have a good rest of your Monday, July 13th.